Alright guys, here is the video review for Mastermind Creations R20N NERO Rex, the Moritorus Enforcer. Moritorus was the name of the planet they were on in the comics that came with the individual figures. It debuted this past weekend at the Singapore toy show. I don't know where it's going to be available after the fact. I think that it will be out there in a few places. It was 600 Singaporean dollars at the show, which was roughly around 420 US. 430, I think. Now it comes in this brown shipper box, and you'll see it's kind of taped up because it's been sliced open, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But it comes in an outer brown shipper box, kind of like a Hot Toys figure, and inside that box is the box for the figure itself, which it's one nice big box set, and like you really don't get an idea. If you saw my Biclones Infinity thing, just to give you an idea of how big this box is, it's a pretty huge box. It's not quite as big as the box that he came in, but it is a fairly large box. And it's nice to have them all in one box set. It doesn't include Saber, the 6th member they added for the thing. It's just the 5 main members. But it's in a nice kind of metallic silvery teal and purple and green color scheme, and black, which looks really nice. And normally I don't talk about the packaging, but I've got a couple things to mention here, and it is kind of a nice set. Now on the back, again, there's some pictures on the back, and again, you'll see this is taped up, because somewhere in the process, and it wasn't shipped to me like this, and I don't know if it was customs, or possibly, from what I understand from my contact over at Mastermind, like, apparently sometimes they will use packages to smuggle things on the side. I don't know. But so they cut through the way it was packaged. It was in here like this. So somebody cut through opened the outer shipping box that came to me in, sliced through this shipping box, and then sliced up this to look inside of it. Like I said, I don't know if it was customs just making sure it was toys or what, but yeah, that was all kinds of fun. I'm getting a new box, but like I said, this one's taped up for now. Yours should not arrive in this condition. But inside the box, you open up the top here, and when you slide it out, there's a bunch of stuff in the bottom that's going to fall out as soon as I pull this out. But you see this styrofoam insert. And inside that styrofoam insert, here's the instruction booklet. There's some extra pieces and things. It does come with, I've already applied them, it does come with the rubber foot pad kit that they released for it, as well as, it's all kind of tucked in here, the completion kit with all the weapons, which is nice. The hip piece comes in a separate baggie, and then two sets of blades come in a separate baggie, and you'll see why in a minute, as well as the little addition of that Professor Heisenberg King's Claw set that fit over his fingers and give him the claws if you want him to have clawed hands. So that's a neat little addition. That was blurred out in earlier photos, but I guess that's been revealed now on the forums. It would be okay to talk about it now anyway, but that's a little secret that comes with it. And then in the front, it's got a nice window box. This stays on better when it's taped before you cut it. But a nice little styrofoam packaging with all the figures already in their combined forms. The feet are down here, the fists are in the feet, the gun, the wing pack over here on this side, and the giant blade over here. That again, that's why these are off to the side, because these were the pieces that came out here and stuck out. So they left those separate. You'll need to attach those to the sword individually. And then you just pull them out, and again, we're not going to we'll go through all the things. I'm not going to focus on the transformations. We've seen them, so I'm just going to show off the individual modes of this guy here. So we'll go ahead and get them out of the package and start showing off the individual looks of these guys. So starting off, here they all are in their alt modes, which again are the same alt modes they had previously, just in different color schemes. Nice purple and black with a kind of metallic bluish silver highlights around them. Now you notice most of them have, at least these 3 guys in alt mode, it's not actually yellow, it's kind of a yellowish green eye color here in alt mode. Tigress has it, and there's Tigress right there. Pretty cool. Leodux has it there in his eyeball there, the green. And there's Leodux here in his alt mode. And Talon has the greenish eyes. Again, his big old wingspan. He's got that nice bluish silver on his wings. But Bovis and Fortis, for whatever reason, have retained their red optics in alt mode, and I'll show those off. Here's Fortis, and you can see he's got red optics, as well as Bovis. Again, there's Bovis in alt mode. He's got the red eyes in alt mode as well. They all have the green eyes in robot mode. You can still, as before, you can still clip the weapons onto the backs of these guys. If you want, I can't remember. There was a way to. Oh yeah, this sits in the slots. There. Oh, I forgot to flip his whole torso around. You can set those guys on the back of them. All the weapons and such do still attach. Obviously, Leo has his shield. You can plug in. Again, you can give them their guns and such. But we'll show those off mostly in robot mode. But yeah, so there's the whole set there in their alt modes. Again, looking really good in that color scheme. So one more sec, we'll get them all into robot mode and show those off, and then we'll head on to the big combined NERO Rex mode. And here's the whole team in robot mode now. You can see they've got their weapons. I've got at least one of each weapon on each figure. And here you can see they all have the green optics, the kind of yellowish green optics that all the animals do. Fortis has a purple face, while the rest all have silver faces. I'm not sure why they made that distinction on him. But for the most part, it's just the same robot modes as before in the same color schemes. I haven't noticed any major revisions or improvements, but I have noticed some things are a little bit more refined on these guys, like sliding Leo Dux's feet down. I found I don't have as much trouble getting them to unlock and slide down. They hold just fine, but there's just not quite as much of a... It doesn't take as much force to pull them down. But yeah, they look really cool here in the new color scheme. Here's Fortis by himself. Tigress with his daggers. Nothing in Tigress's belly. There's no bomb or anything in there. It's just an empty container. If you have the penguin or the bomb, you can stick it in there. I brought my little penguin in. Here is Talon. And again, I think his wings look really great here in this color scheme. Here's Bovis. And here is Leo Dux himself. He's got the shield, he's got the cannon, he's got the big cleavers, all of which are pretty cool. And one thing I will point out before we get to combine mode, if you want to build the separate swords, if you want to split his tail and build the separate swords instead of the giant Oppenheimer sword, these I found, and again, I don't know if they redesigned these or if it's just quality control or whatever. I found these stick on very securely now. Before, a lot of times they would hang on, but you kind of had to have them hold them like this, or the weight of the sword would pop them off. And now they're on. I mean, you really got to use some force to separate them now. So, yeah, if you want to build those separate swords, you should be able to do so. I haven't pried this apart because, like I said, these hold much more securely than. It's almost hard to pull them off. So you can build that sword and not have to worry about it falling off the tail piece. But yeah, again, very nice group in some very nice colors. I'll bring them back in real quick for a robo group shot here. Let's get Fortis or Bovis out of the way there so you can see Talon. But yeah, really good looking group. All right, so we'll set them aside and we will go on to combine mode. And here he is, the big bad Mamma Jamma combined. You can see the silver is, like I said, it's a slightly different. It's kind of got a bluish tint to it. This is in his tallest setting. You can collapse his thighs. He does seem to be a little bit more stable in combined mode than my previous Feral Rex, although I don't know if maybe that's just because of I haven't played with this one as much and all this stuff. But the color scheme really comes together very well, I think, in the combined mode. He holds his giant sword. He's got his giant gun. I haven't put the King's Claw set on him yet, mostly just because I haven't wanted to open it. But it's all the gray. What's cool is depending on your point of view, all the grays are darker than the gray on the original Feral Rex. Although Talon's talons are still the same lighter gray. So there's a little bit more of a visual contrast between where his bird feet end and his actual hand begins. Whether that's a positive or negative to you, those being a lighter gray, it's personal preference. But I like that it makes a bit more of a distinction between his hand and those claws on his arm. But yeah, it's same posability as before, which it's a little limited, but you can get him in some really cool poses if you're patient. And he does still retain the light up feature. Instead of a red LED this time, he's got a nice teal visor. And it doesn't, on camera, the glow kind of spreads out from his face. It's not as diffuse when you look at him. It's a really neat, just kind of tealish green glow on his face. It's a really nice package. This is a really great repaint of what was already a pretty solid figure. So yeah, I'm really happy. Again, it was available at the Singapore Toy Show this past weekend. Some of you may have managed to get somebody to pick one up for you there. I don't know. I know people have contacted both BBTS and TF Source on TFW and said that they're waiting to hear from the vendor. By the time I'm shooting this video a couple days ahead of time, so I don't know if there's been a definitive answer. He might be available in some other places, so keep an eye out. Places to look. I don't know if Falcon's Hangar will put any up on their website. Planet Steel Express might have some. If BBTS and TF Source were able to get some, you might see them there. Like I said, depending on how well it's sold at the convention itself, there may be some stock available for sale in other places. I don't know how many were made. It's a limited edition repaint. I know Azalea last year, the Dark Azalea, was either 200 or 500 pieces. And I would expect this guy to be produced in similar numbers to that. I honestly don't know how many were made. There's nothing on the package that indicates like one of X number of figures, so I honestly don't know. But yeah, a really nice repaint of, like I said, an already solid figure. Very, very cool. R20N NERO Rex from Mastermind Creations.